Now what do we do? If this price can be used only one time, then all we can do is take that quotation, create a purchase order and use it. But if it can be used for a long time, then we can convert that into what's called as a source of supply. So like I said, we have successfully completed the quotation process, and out of that, one successful bidder emerged. We've accepted more than one, that's a different story. Let's just say for simplicity that we have accepted 4003 as a successful bidder. Now, if it's a one-time offer, meaning he's willing to offer us 100 kilos of coffee at this price, for 10 days or 5 days or 20 days, we could use that quotation and convert that into a PO. Issue the PO to the vendor, get the goods, pay the invoice, the process is complete. But if the vendor is ready to supply these goods to us on a long-term basis, meaning forever at that price, then we got a win, right? So out of all these vendors, this vendor is supplying the goods to us forever at 8.95 per pound. That means we can use this vendor as the source of supply for a long time. If you want to test the vendor, maybe the quality is good or not, we don't know, then we can just create a PO, receive the goods, receive the invoice, and then check if the coffee tastes good, what is the customer feedback, so on and so forth. And if we like the coffee, and of course we like the price, then like I said, we can convert this quotation. If the vendor is ready to supply the goods on a long-term basis, we can convert this into what's called as a source of supply. What's a source of supply? A source of supply is just a set of data that we can use again and again to create purchase orders, right? So whenever we want coffee, we can use vendor 4003. And what are the modes in which you maintain the data for 4003 at this price? There are three ways primarily in which you can create a source of supply. And we have seen all of these sources of supply already. The first source of supply is a purchase info record. The second source of supply is a contract. The third source of supply is a scheduling agreement. How do you create this? Well, creating this is no big deal. But how do we use them? A purchasing info record can be used to create a PO, right? In the purchase info record, you set a price of 8.75 or whatever price this vendor has agreed on. And when you set that, and every time you create a PO with this vendor, this purchase info record will be used and you get the best price. Now, same thing with a contract. Using this quotation, you can convert that quotation into a contract, and any PO that you create further can reference this contract. And of course, you're gonna get that price of $8.75. the best price that was offered. Now same thing with scheduling agreements. You can convert that quotation into a scheduling agreement also. So if you know that you're going to require 100 quantity every week, you can create a scheduling agreement and the price is going to be 875 because we have created that with reference to this quotation. And you don't even need to create POs, right? When the date is right, based on the delivery schedule, you get the goods. And then you get the goods and invoices at 875 per pound. Now let's see how we can do them. So this is our successful bidder, right? So Control Y, copy the quotation number, go back. The first thing we're going to do is create an info record. The way to create that info record is, if you go to the price comparison, put the collective number of 2001, click execute, and select that line item, go to quotation, and if you say update info record, and you want to say update, you want this to be the price for Chicago plant only or for all the other plants. Well, for now we have asked the goods to be delivered to the Chicago plant, so select B, which is update with plant, right, and click on save. So for vendor 4003 we have created an info record, right? Now let's go create a purchase order. Go to purchase order, go to create ME21N and select 4003 coffee beans, quantity of 100, right? Hit enter, enter. Go to conditions and you see the 895. Where did it get it from? From the info record. Did we create the info record? No. When the quotation was saved with the info record update as B, the system has automatically created an info record. If you want to see that analysis, if you want to see that info record, let's just go back. So you can go to info records, right? Where are info records? Go to master data, info record, display, and for 4003 coffee beans, is there an info record? Yes, there is an info record. Go to conditions and you see the 895. So this is an automatic creation because we have said, because we have asked the quotation to be auto updated, and we do it only for the successful bidder anyway, right? All right, so that was step number 1. So that was step number 1. This is successfully done. We were able to test it by creating a PO. The second step is you can convert that quotation into a contract. How do you do that? It's very simple. You go to outline agreement, contract, create, then you refer to an RFQ, and then you refer to an RFQ. Select that and go here, put the collective number, and this is the successful bidder, right? Select that and click OK. So the vendor is automatically pulled, dates are pulled, the plant is pulled, the purchase org is pulled. All you need to do is select the type of contract. Say we want a quantity contract. Enter, and it's valid for a month or 1 year. The quantity is 1000. And you can adopt those details from the RFQ, or you could change the quantities here, 3000. Right? This is assuming that the vendor is ready to supply not just 1000 but 3000, 5000, 10,000, 20,000 pounds of coffee at that price. That's something you got to confirm with the vendor before you create a contract at that price as a source of supply. Right? So the price again is automatically pulled from where? From the RFQ. Then you can click save, and this contract now is a source of supply. So step number 2 is complete. You have created a contract. Now with reference to the contract, if you create a PO, of course you're going to get all the conditions and prices into the PO. And creating a scheduling agreement is also similar, right? It's also an outline agreement like a contract. So creating a scheduling agreement is as simple as clicking on create, vendor unknown, and reference to an RFQ. Put the RFQ number in there, and everything else is pulled into it. Just select the correct agreement type, scheduling agreement. And then put a validity end date, say 1 year, and you can adopt the RFQ like this. For a quantity of 1000, 5000, 4000, doesn't matter, right? If the vendor is ready to supply an infinite amount at that price, you could very well put any amount you want. And then click save. That's a scheduling agreement, and you know further how to deal with the scheduling agreement. You can create a delivery schedule, and based on the delivery schedule, goods will be received on that particular date. As you can see, the quotation process starts as a competition between the different vendors. You send them request for quotation, they respond with quotations, and you select a winner. Once you select a winner, you can create that as a source of supply. Basically, you are creating that vendor and the conditions under which he is ready to deliver the goods to us, meaning the price, the Incoterms, payment terms, delivery dates, etc., into a source of supply. And what are the possible sources of supply? The three main sources of supply are purchase info record, contract, scheduling agreement. You can create any of these or all of these, and any time in the future you require coffee, you can either create a purchase order directly because the purchase info record already contains the price and the vendor, or you can create a purchase order with reference to a contract if you have created a contract, or a scheduling agreement. So basically, this brings three processes together: the quotation process or the RFQ process, the source of supply, which contains a list of source documents like purchase info record, contract, scheduling agreements that can be used to create further documents with the vendor. This whole procedure brings two concepts together. The first concept is the RFQ process, where you start off with an RFQ and then end in a successful quotation. And number two, you create a source of supply based on the successful quotation. And a source of supply essentially consists of a purchase info record or a contract or a scheduling agreement. Now, in the next chapter, we're going to summarize all the different documents that we have done so far and see how they are linked together.